On November 4th, 2019, just a day after Niko Kovac was sacked by Bayern Munich, his assistant, Hansi Flick, was promoted as an interim manager. After a couple missteps, his job was made permanent, as he helped lift Bayern from 7th place in the Bundesliga to 1st within a 6-match stretch, and they never let go. And upon beating PSG yesterday, by the time you see this video, Hansi Flick's Bayern Munich completed the treble after beating PSG 1-0 in the Champions League final. Hey, I'm Adrian, and this is Rabona TV, and these are my thoughts on the match. Less structure this time, more of a stream of consciousness that I will hopefully be able to edit into a coherent video after. First off though, I published a video back on July 9th that was titled, Winning Now with Football's Future, How Bayern's Transfers Could Ensure European Dominance, and I still stand by that video. Check it out if you want to see how they have built this team extremely responsibly, Hansi Flick's role in it, and how it could ensure further dominance in the future. Anyways, the Champions League final. You always get nervous going into a match where there are goals to be expected, where everyone's saying it should be a goal fest. And at the beginning of the watch along on my channel, shout out to everyone that watched the final with me, I said that it would be interesting to see if Neymar and Mbappe get back to help on defense, or if Davies and Kimmich would have free range to roam forward. And early doors, both players did, and it was a bit of a chess match at times. Sometimes it was Neymar tracking back, sometimes it was Mbappe, often Di Maria would stay forward with one or the other as PSG would drop into a 4-4-2 formation when they didn't have the ball, 2 lines of 4 across the pitch to really restrict Bayern's movement and force them onto the flanks. And once Bayern had the ball on the flanks, PSG's defenders would try to double up on Bayern's wide men to win the ball back quickly and within 2-3 passes, use their pace to exploit Bayern's right side of defense, which was occupied by Kimmich and Boateng to start. That's how PSG's first big opportunity came about, and that was always going to be the weakness within Bayern's 11. But thankfully for Bayern, they have quite possibly the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment in Manuel Neuer. In my opinion, having considered it a lot over the last 2 weeks during this mini Champions League tournament, Neuer is back on top of the goalkeeping world, and he was put to the test by Neymar. Neymar's strike made it under Neuer, but he had the presence of mind to sort of reach under his own body, between his legs, to deflect the strike wide, a brilliant save, and then he promptly got to his feet again to dive and block Neymar's squared pass attempt. Brilliant keeping from him. I don't know if it's considered a double save since the second attempt was a pass attempt, but we'll call it a double save. We'll give it to him. And as far as opportunities went in the first half, that was largely the pattern of play, as I mentioned earlier. Not a lot of possession for PSG in the first half, or in the second, to be honest, but they plugged up the middle of the park with their midfield 3 of Marquinhos, Herrera, and Paredes. Herrera in particular was brilliant in my opinion. They forced Bayern to the flanks all the time and did a decent job of pinning Kimmich and Davies back. They didn't have much license to roam forward as they usually do. Plus, they had to be wary of the guys going in behind them, in Neymar and Mbappe. And following that Neymar attempt that Neuer saved, Boateng of course went off injured. He clearly hadn't recovered from the injury that forced him off at half against Lyon, as Niklas Süle was quite decent upon coming on. Nothing too flashy from him, no Hollywood tackles needed, really, because he was solid positionally. And then there was Mbappe, who all match long it looked as if he was a bit nervous, as he had at least 3 opportunities, one of which was offside, to be fair, but at least 3 opportunities in this match that he scuffed his lines on. On one occasion, Herrera found himself with an opportunity to shoot. In my opinion, he should have just whipped it low to the far corner, but who am I to say? But he opted to cut it back to Mbappe, who, to be fair, was also in a great position, and all that Mbappe could muster was a tame strike that rolled into the arms of Manuel Neuer. Didn't make him work nearly enough, and it was a huge opportunity missed for PSG in that first half. Had they scored first, the complexion of the rest of the half and the rest of the game could have been quite different. But a former PSG man was ultimately the difference maker in this game, Kingsley Coman, allowed to leave from PSG for free to Juventus, a guy who has had more than his fair share of injuries, and a guy that I was super surprised to see in the starting 11. I've had plenty of doubts about the quality of his final ball and his decision making at times, but I've never discredited his pace or ability in one-on-one situations. With that, he's excellent. Against Lyon, I thought he was a bit poor, and to start against PSG, he came out of the blocks a little slow, but towards the end of the first half, he really showed signs of life, and the more I see the replay of Thilo Kehrer pulling him down in the box, the more I think that it should have been a penalty. Now here's the thing. If this was a pre-VAR world, then I would say that it probably isn't a penalty and that Coman flopped and it shouldn't be given. But this is a post-VAR world that we live in now, and we have seen time and time again when a player is trailing another one in the box and he grabs hold of his shoulder, he is forcing the referee into a decision, and often that decision is a penalty. You can't pull your opponent back like that, and if this was a foul that had happened in the middle of the pitch as Bayern were looking to counter, I think it would have been called back by the referee and a yellow card given. It happened with David Luiz sometime this summer, and my brain is having a difficult time remembering who it was against, but often if you grab a hold of your opponent's shoulder in the box, in post-VAR world, it's given as a penalty. The precedent has been set, but it wasn't given on this occasion. So let's toss that aside, because thankfully it didn't have to play a role in the end, in the outcome of this match. The first half ended, and there was a strong argument to be made that as far as meaningful opportunities generated, odds were pretty even. You could even convince me, if you had a good argument, that PSG had the better opportunities, even in considering two great saves made by Keylor Navas, as well as Lewandowski hitting the post. The second half is where we saw Bayern control the match a little more, and while Gnabry went a little bit quiet in this match, Kingsley Coman was there to be the hero, and who else but Joshua Kimmich to provide the beautiful curling ball to the back post for Coman to head past Keylor Navas. That ended up being the winner. PSG had a big opportunity shortly after, but Bayern stood strong for the most part and ended up winning this match 1-0. Even towards the end, Choupo-Moting had a decent opportunity that he absolutely made a mess of. You can't say that Bayern didn't deserve it. Was this the most sparkling performance from them? No, not by a long shot, but they did what they had to in order to ultimately get the job done, and hey, a ton of credit has to go to PSG as well. Coming into this match, they had conceded the fewest amount of goals in the competition. I don't know if that record still stands following the final, but I'm sure editor Adrian will confirm that for me, right? True or not? But when we think of PSG, what names come to your head first? There's Neymar, Mbappe, Eric-Maxime Choupo-Moting. Sorry, I had to. But man, imagine being Icardi, who they just paid 50 million for, or whatever it was, and it's the Champions League final and your team needs a goal, and Thomas Tuchel chooses Choupo-Moting over you. How's that feel? But anyways, back to my original point. It's typically attackers you think of when you think of PSG, right? But they've proven throughout this competition that they are more than just their front line. And a huge congratulation has to go to Thiago Silva, who has put in some dominant performances across this season. Pernell Kimpembe has been fantastic. That diving header that he managed to divert upwards and outwards so that Lewandowski couldn't score a second for Bayern. Incredible header. Juan Bernat and Thilo Kehrer were decent. Their contributions have been great going forward usually, and in defense they're not bad. Perhaps some of the most important contributions to PSG's defensive solidity this season have been Marquinhos, and to a slightly lesser but no less imperative degree, Ander Herrera. Marquinhos has adapted brilliantly to that CDM position, providing cover to that back line and adding value going forward at times as well. So if PSG continue to add quality, they will absolutely have to get a center back in my opinion, as I think Marquinhos will continue to have to cover for the often injured Marco Verratti in midfield. And if they keep Thomas Tuchel around, then they will be a genuine power next season. I think they'll have another deep run. But to the champions. Manuel Neuer, as mentioned earlier, back to his best as he showed in this final and all season long for Bayern Munich's ridiculous 30-match unbeaten run they went on that is still going. And let's go one better actually. 21-match winning streak to bring that treble home. Wow. David Alaba shifted beautifully into the center back position, and his vacant left back position was taken up by none other than the hero of this channel, Alphonso Davies, the first Canadian men's national team member to lift the Champions League trophy. The final wasn't his best performance, by any means, just as it wasn't Bayern Munich's best performance across the squad. But how often is the final the team's best performance of the season, right? Finals are often like this. Kimmich on the right side, as Mourinho said, he seems to be a player that can play almost anywhere on the park. He's extremely intelligent. He has the ability to go with it. Right back, center back, central midfield, on the wing. I bet he could do a job as a striker. I wouldn't put it past him. He's that annoying kid that's just good at everything, you know? That's Kimmich. Leon Goretzka had a slow start to his Bayern career, but he's since become vital to their midfield alongside Thiago Alcantara. What a player Thiago is. He had another great performance in the final, perhaps his last for Bayern Munich. This was one of Thomas Muller's most subdued performances of late, but it takes nothing away from his season. Out of favor under Niko Kovac, then vital to Hansi Flick's plans, sets a Bundesliga assists record. Amazing. Gnabry scored plenty of goals in the Champions League, his best season yet. Couldn't get a game at West Brom under Tony Pulis, and is one of Germany's top talents now. Sané on one side, Gnabry on the other. Oof. Kingsley Coman's there too. And finally, I know I missed some players, but Robert Lewandowski. After he missed out on the Champions League title with Borussia Dortmund in 2013, it was looking like he would be another sad, nearly man in football history, you know? But he's done it. He caps off his personal best season as far as scoring goes by winning a treble with Bayern Munich. And if there was a Ballon d'Or this year, which there should have been, shame on you, France football. I'm joking, but if there was a Ballon d'Or this year, for me, it has to go to him. So, a deserving end to this campaign for Bayern Munich, and you can't speak of their success without speaking of Hansi Flick. He rallied the troops and re-implemented a playing style that suited their strengths, brought them from 7th, as I mentioned at the beginning, to Bundesliga champions, DFB Pokal champions, and champions of Europe. A former player at the club who never won the European Cup as a player for Bayern Munich. They lost the 1987 final to Porto, but he got it done as a manager. So, congratulations to Bayern Munich. As I said, deserved winners. And with the acquisitions they've made over the years, as well as Leroy Sané this summer, it looks as if we should get used to even more success from them on the European front. And so, this brings to a close the 2019-20 European season. I want to say thank you to all of you for watching my videos, for subscribing, liking, commenting, joining me for watch-alongs, donating, which blows my mind every time that happens. Everything. We grew from 80,000 to over 160,000 subscribers, which is basically my own little Champions League victory. That is completely down to people such as yourself for supporting the content. So I thank you, and I can't say it enough. But hey, I'm going to see you soon, very soon, as we have some predictions to react to, among other videos. The content continues, and before you know it, the 2020-2021 season will be upon us. I'm Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!